Hello everybody, Cody here with Behind the Wheel for episode 3. I'm here with Sam today.
Hey guys, it's Sam from Hooked on Driving from episode 1, and we're here with Josh today. We're going to talk a little bit about his history from being a youngster up until now. So we're going to have a little chat.
All right, Josh, so tell us, in your journey, you're young, what cars have you owned in the past?
Oh gosh, that list is going to be so long.
How about let's narrow it down to track cars.
Track cars. Okay, so I really only had the 328 and my 2002 330 Ci. That's a Spec E46 build.
That's nice. And for people that don't know what Spec E46 is, what is that?
So Spec E46 is the chassis from 2000 to 2006. We have a spec exhaust, we have a spec suspension, spec tune, we have a spec motor. It's designed to be a car that's everybody's on the same playing field, and it comes down to the driver because there's no open rules anywhere. Everything's very stringent, and you have to run it this way.
Cool. And you run with NASA, right?
Yeah.
So how did you first get into cars then? If it progressed into racing and a more of a sport than a hobby, I guess you're dedicated more time into it. How did you first start? What was your journey up through?
So first start, I've been turning wrenches since I was a kid, literally. Built my first Volkswagen when I was 15. Swapped an ABA into a Mark II Volkswagen. If anybody's the Volkswagen heads, they'll be like, oh, that's cool.
That's cool.
But getting down the line, meeting Mike and Mona, John Cafisi, through car events and stuff like that, and they basically begged me to come to a Hooked on Driving event. Just come. You don't even have to bring a car, just go. And I actually got to ride right seat with a good friend, Kristen Resendez, and it was out on Pocono Grand Course in her E46 M3.
Nice.
And basically from that moment on,
So it sounds like it started out in a parking lot.
It started out in a parking lot for sure.
So you were more cruising, younger crowd, hitting some car shows, some pop-up events here and there, just being around it. And then they slowly pulled you out of that into the track life.
Yeah.
That's cool. What was the first car you drove?
On track?
On track.
So the first car I drove on track was John Cafisi's 330 Ci that we quick threw together, and my first track day ever was on VIR.
Really?
Yeah, with Dave Gilbert as my coach. And it was really funny because I get the message from your coach that you get before every event, and hi, I'm Dave Gilbert, and I'll be going to be your coach this weekend. What's your experience? And if you're looking for us in the paddock, I'll be by this car. And he sent me a picture of the car that I was building.
So he didn't know that you and John were friends?
No, he didn't at all. And even funnier yet, we were picking Dave up on the way down to VIR.
Oh, so he didn't even know he was riding with you, did he?
No. So we spent 7 hours in a truck first before we even got to go on track. So we got to know each other pretty well before we even got on track.
So let's talk. You brought up that he sent you an email, right? So you were completely new, what we call our A group, right? Mm-hmm. A novice, first time, nervous, and you received an email from a random coach, right? Yeah. So explain what that was like. So for the people that don't know, we send out emails to all of our students before the event, and in that email will be the coach that they have, what to expect, and so on and so forth. So how was that? Because I'm sure your nerves were through the roof. You didn't know what was going to happen, what to expect, and all that stuff, and now you're getting this email. So walk me through kind of what that process was for you.
So obviously, you get signed up, and you get the email. And it's just, the same thing you were just explaining. Dave Gilbert, I'm your instructor. Here's what to expect. Bring lots of water. Expect to be tired at the end of the day. The whole thing through that. And then, I don't know, it was just one of those weird things to see the car that I was building with John at the bottom of the email. I was like, wait, this feels like a scam. Yeah. Feels like a scam.
Were you nervous? Were you excited? What were your emotions at the time?
Probably like those two almost in their entirety. It's just like nervous, but like really excited, you know, come from a lot of like different power sports stuff. And, you know I can do this, but like one, it's not my car, but I put a lot of work into the car.
Sure.
And, you know, we're driving all the way down to VIR from up here. We're in Eastern Pennsylvania. You know, that's a long haul to go down there. You know, hopefully all the work we did holds up, you know.
Heck yeah.
So.
And Sam's favorite track.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
number one for me.
Yeah.
Worth
There
the
you go.
drive, though,
Worth
right?
it. Yeah, 100%.
Where does that rank for you?
I would call VIR my number 2.
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay. What's number 1?
So number 1 is NGMP Thunderbolt. I
Really?
actually love Thunderbolt. Yeah.
Over VIR.
Over VIR. I just feel like Thunderbolt flows so well, and you just make the car dance so much. I really, really enjoy Thunderbolt.
That's cool.
You know, the big wide open spaces are a lot more fun for higher horsepower cars. I think it would be number 1 if I had a higher horsepower car. But I feel like Thunderbolt is just like the perfect mix of speed and
Momentum and speed.
Momentum and speed, yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. I think like on our previous episode, we talked about how we thought it was a great beginner track, right?
Absolutely.
It was a great spot to learn. Lightning and Thunder both were awesome to learn on and get going. And that's because of that, right? It's smooth and it transitions well and goes around. And
they're open. If you make mistakes, okay, you got some dirt on your car, you know, or you got stuck in the mud and you had to get towed off track. That's the worst thing that happens really at NGMP.
Yes.
If you hit a wall at NGMP, you made a big boo-boo.
Oh, yeah,
you know,
sure.
So there's room for error there.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, and it is. It's a laid back area.
Yeah.
It's all laid back.
Absolutely.
So your first day, you came in, you got your email, you ran. What was, I guess, the end of the day emotions that you're feeling? Now the jitters are gone, you're settled in, you're more adequate with what's going on, what's going through your head at the end of the day.
Definitely like oh man, that was awesome, and like I can do this. Like this is fun. I'm really enjoying this. Like I could see myself doing this for a long time.
Sure. And how long ago was it?
Oh gosh, VIR was that 2020 or 2021?
So you're fairly green in the game.
Yeah, still
4 years.
Yeah,
5 years ago.
Yeah.
But a lot of track days under your belt since then.
Oh yeah, basically every single HOD event since then, and you know I dabbled with EMRA a little bit. I've done a lot with NASA. I've done a couple different ones.
Did you think in your head at that moment, oh, I'm gonna race, or was it still
no, definitely not in that moment, for sure. Definitely not in that moment. That moment was just like, yeah, this is gonna be an awesome new hobby.
Cool.
You know.
So when do you think that transition came? When was it that, okay, I'm a first-time student, or maybe it wasn't? Maybe there's a break. Maybe you said in your head, hey, I want to get to be in D class, which is our most advanced class, or maybe it was I want to become a coach, or when was that transition? Was a coach in the forecast, or was it straight to race, or?
No, none of that was really in the forecast. I wouldn't say that even racing was in the forecast until I was already 2 years into it, you know, and I had my own car at that point. I had the 328, and I was really enjoying that, you know, developing that car, and you know, and then John introduced me to, hey, there's this class called Spec E46. You know, you're already driving an E46, and you know, you obviously like the chassis a lot, so you know, look into it.
Sure.
And we found a 2002 330 Ci that didn't run, but it was a really clean chassis, and started my build. It took me about 1.5 years to build it in my barn. But
to where you are today with it.
To where I am today with it, starting racing with NASA. The coaching, I would say, I don't even know if that was, I don't want to say it wasn't a desire.
Sure.
But it was like kind of, you fall into something sometimes and you really enjoy it. I really enjoy coaching. I really enjoy giving back to the sport. Because the only way that the sport keeps growing is if we need coaches to bring these new people in, and then the new people become the new me.
Sure.
You know, as we go.
Yeah, you got to backfill, right?
Yeah.
As everybody works their way up through, you have to have a supply chain. You got to keep on coming. Do you feel that coaching helped with the racing? Or do you
100%.
think that was more of just an after?
Yeah. So it's funny because we'll be at home and friends come over and you have the driving simulator and whatnot. It's like, oh, like I'm a coach. I can coach you through the lap. And you're coaching them and they're still not getting it. I was like, can I show you? And it's funny, I'll just drive and then I'll start speaking out loud the lap. And then all of a sudden my laps get cleaner.
Sure.
Like the coaching and really driving those points home really
You're coaching yourself.
You're coaching yourself. Like all I had to do was audibly say it out loud and all of a sudden my laps got cleaner.
Sure.
So.
And how do you think you got to that point where you were so good at coaching? Was it like other coaches that kind of shaped and molded you? Was it just experiencing your own way through the track?
Probably a little bit of everything. Experiencing, data overlay, just listening. And, you know, even now where I'm at now, I'll grab somebody, hop in the car with me. If you see something that I picked up a bad habit here and there, you know, maybe I'm doing something or maybe I'm just being a sissy going into this corner and like, why are you braking at the 600? You can take it all the way to the 3, you know?
Yeah. And that's what I like. Right. So our coaches can coach other coaches and it's like a circle and that coach that's getting coached can hop in a different car with the same guy and now coach him on what he's doing also, right? So it's like there's so much knowledge from every person individually that when it all comes together, you never stop learning on it, right? It's constant and goes and goes and goes. So, but let's go into you're super young. So how do you feel the reaction is when you get in a car with, let's say, an older person that's just getting into it, right? I don't years, whatever, but let's say an older person. You're getting in the car and they look at you and you're 25 years younger than they are and you're telling them how to drive the car. Well, how does that?
It's definitely an interesting dynamic because especially like doesn't matter how old, young, experienced your student is, you know, you're getting into a car with somebody and you're going to go do 130, 140, 150 miles an hour with somebody. Like you have to establish that trust with somebody that you just met quick.
Yeah, within an hour.
Yeah, I'd say even within 20 minutes sometimes. You've only, you know, exchanged a handful of emails or texts and you met in the paddock for 5 minutes and quick looked over their car. Now let's go do 150 miles an hour. You know, so kind of setting
a little nerve-wracking.
Yeah, for sure. And like you have to feel somebody out. Like you have to be very good at feeling people out very quickly about, okay, this is how I'm going to coach it, you know, because, you know, sometimes you just have to reel somebody in really quick so you don't let them get too far out. And then there's other people that, come on, let's go. You know, you got to bring them up to the speed, you know, but you have 20 minutes to figure that out.
Style is different, right? So you have different personalities in the car of the person driving. You have different personalities of the coach that's sitting in the car. So now you're trying to mesh those together. I know like with Sam, she's had plenty of coaches, so she can be the first to say, every person coaches differently.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right? So it's like, I mean, it's somebody that talks a lot, somebody that sits in silence. Like when I coach Sam, I sit there in silence. And we do like really long, nice debriefs at the end. Like that's my coaching style. Now, if there's an emergency out there, that's one thing. But I like sitting back, seeing what they're doing, and then we correct it, right? You have to make those mistakes to learn how to fix the mistakes. And that might not be what's your coaching style. That might not be your coaching style.
Yeah. I would say at least like the first session, I'm basically driving the car from the right-hand seat. You know, I'm like, you know, the harder I'm squeezing my fist, the more brake I want, and I've had to instruct people too. Like when I say brake and I'm screaming it, I want you to break your firewall, pushing on that brake pedal, you know, and you know, trying to get people to understand that because, you know, people on the street, you know, they hit their brakes really hard and they came to a hard stop and like, wow. And then you go out on track and it's like, it's totally different. I think the best thing I ever did was we did a B group boot camp when I was coming up through, and you started at a line and there was a box of cones at the end of it. It goes, okay, you have to be full throttle or full brake. But the second you get off throttle and you get on brake, you have to be all the brakes. And I want you to stop your car perfectly in this box. And every single one of us stopped almost a car and a half short of the box. Like the nose wasn't even in the box.
Right.
You know, learning what the car can do on track, you know. things like that.
Have you ever had somebody coach you like that?
Yeah, and no, not like that, but I actually was going to say that I had you as my coach at Pocono, and I think your style, you know, to your points, you are a very chill coach, which I appreciate, right? Like, you'll tell me, okay, like here you can do something different, like you could do something better here. So you highlighted that for me, and otherwise, like going through everything else, you were quiet, and but that's good because you don't always want someone constantly like micromanaging every little piece that you're doing. So you would tell me, okay, here you could do this to get faster, you could do this, and that was appreciated. I liked that style a lot.
It is a good style, you know, and but there are people that adapt differently to that, right? There's people that want you to talk in their ear the whole time.
The entire
they
time.
want to be walked through what to do. They want you to turn by turn, brake, gas, turn in, back out. Okay, feel that. And then there's other people that are like, let me do a lap and tell me what I need to do, and then we'll go for another lap and tell me what, because they go in almost like a sensory overload, right? They're soaking so much in at once and trying to adapt to it. Do you feel, now you've coached a bunch of people, do you feel that coaching the older generation to the younger generation is different, or do you feel you can run that same coaching style on both and have the same outcome?
You can probably run the same coaching style on both. I mean, it varies so much from person to person, because you could have somebody who's like a similar personality, but they're in a totally different car and they act like a totally different person.
Right.
You know, I'd say the older crowd, it's just like you said before, it's like harder to get them to really trust you. Like they see this young guy who, what does he know? I'm older and wiser,
right?
You know, but
been driving on the street for 30 years.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I've owned this car longer than you've had a license. Yeah, you know.
Yeah. Do you feel that there's different coaching styles for different style of cars?
Yeah, 100%. You know, even, you know, if you're in a Miata, like you have to be so much more aggressive to be up to pace, you know, versus if you're in a Camaro SS on, you know, Pocono Grand Course, and totally different, you know.
Powerhouse.
Oh yeah. You know, I had a young student in one of those and I just had to keep, hey, relax, you know, his knuckles are turning completely white. I'm like, dude, we're on the front straight. What are you, all you're doing is hitting the gas. We're not doing anything. Why are you gripping the steering wheel so tight? Oh, yeah. Gotta relax,
He's putting the dimples into the back of the wheel.
I told him he was putting dents in the steering wheel.
You really are like a comforting presence to a lot of people. And that's what I've loved with coaches. It is like that security next to you. Like you're driving, but they're just like this like uber source of comfort for you, like talking you through, encouraging you. You got this, or ease up, it's okay. You know, that talking through it is everything. And someone who's really nervous, I mean, as a coach, like, are you ever nervous? How do you kind of get through that?
Well, it's funny because I recognize like people being tense so much because I struggle with being tense so much. Like I have to constantly, every single straightaway I go on, stretching it out, try to just drive with two fingers, you know, and that's something I really struggle with. So I feel like that's something I recognize very easily. So
it's people skills, right? It's just like dealing with other people no matter what, right? You can apply it to the track just like anywhere else. You can empathize with people.
Well, that's something I definitely connect with. You know, you find out what just about everybody in this world has played a sport at some point or another, or, you know, based on their profession. You know, back to Camaro SS guy, he was a wrestler, and I was like, hey, what happens when you're wrestling and you're super tense? He goes, oh, you're super easy to read and you'll lose like quick when you're tense. And I was like, yeah. So let's be relaxed. Let's don't be readable. Let's, you know, relax. That's how you win. Be relaxed. And so it was just a lot of these things with sports and life and jobs, you know, everything translates over, you know, and sometimes those analogies are what translate to people the best. So you can tell somebody to relax till you're blue in the face, but you relate it to something that they love, like they're wrestling, click. There goes the light switch.
Yeah, and that's it. It's finding that. And finding it fast. You know, you have realistically, I mean, you have 8 hours with your student throughout the day, but realistically you have maybe 4 hours with your student that you're connecting, right? So you have 4 hours, and then you're done. So you have even less time to figure out what that is.
Yeah.
What's the connection we can make to make you feel comfortable, right?
Yeah.
And it's because it is. If you're tensed up and tight and nervous and all that, it's one, they're not going to have fun, right? And that's what we want. We want everybody to have fun. And two, it's not the safest thing to be out there, right? You got to get loosened up. So I agree completely with the breathe and the stretching the fingers. I have to do it too. I catch myself, especially if you're in the zone, right? You're like, oh, this is a hot one. I'm gonna lay it down. Next thing you know, you're like,
you see the green on the
shaking
aim.
and you're shaking, holding onto the wheel, and you're like, yeah, let's go. And it's like, wait a minute, I just lost 3 seconds. What the heck is going on here? So I can see how that goes. So student, first time, all within a very fast period, 4 or 5 years, coach, and now you're starting to dabble into the racing. So tell me a little bit about how that experience was, because I'm sure the DE prepped you for all that. I mean, that's where you learn to drive.
Yeah.
And now you're dipping into the racing side of things.
Yeah. So there's nothing like it, 100%. I'll even when we're doing comp school, which is to get your racing license, we're doing practice starts. And, you come down, you watch that green flag drop, and you hear 40 cars around you all rev up at the same time, and we're all diving into turn 1, 3, 4 cars wide. And, they're throwing a yellow flag at turn 7 on lightning, and my heart is bouncing off the steering wheel and back into my chest. Every single beat, I'm like, this is awesome. And that was a practice start. It wasn't even a race, it was a practice start. And
so
then,
they did a really good job prepping you for that.
Oh my gosh, yeah. They did, 2 wide drills, dive bomb drills,
That's awesome.
3 wide drills. We did, 10 laps around the track, 3 cars wide the entire way around the track.
Right. Do you think you would have been prepared for all that if you didn't do the DE?
No way. Not in any shape or form. Just, even coming from, my motocross and ATV background, it's different. It's totally different.
So you would say that DE is a good start. Go to DE, get your feet wet, get familiar with the cars, the tracks, all that, and then work your way. If your end goal is to race, which a lot of people, their end goal isn't to race. They just enjoy driving, right? Yeah. But if your end goal is that's the path. I mean, that's...
Yeah, you got to come up, because there's so many things that, 5 years ago didn't make any sense to me. And now I'm on the finite line of it and understanding, big slip angle, you drive the car right to just before it's sliding. And understanding that 5 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to tell you what a slip angle is.
Sam, you know what slip angle is?
I do now. No.
I do now.
It's interesting. Yeah, you do. As you go along, the things that you're feeling, you're making sense of, or a coach is making sense to you. Our classrooms talk about trail braking, slip angle, all that kind of stuff. What you're feeling, how you should be approaching things to be smoother or faster in that specific segment of the track.
Yeah, for sure. And I know we've been working with Sam this year on slip angle, right? Sam has always been super, super nervous to let the tail of the car come out. It's okay. That's especially in your car, an E36 and E46. That's how you gain the speed. You have to let that slide. Right. And she's been doing great at it now, letting it happen. But I think you did a clinic, right?
Yes.
And that's what really opened your eyes on what the car could do.
Yeah, the car control clinics. I mean, the more you practice this, the more you get comfortable with it, feeling your car. It's not gonna slide out on you. It's gonna take it. It's it's finding those limits. It's finding where you're comfortable with. Okay, maybe it is a smaller track. Maybe it's the proving grounds at Lime Rock, right? You're seeing, okay, this is taking it. I'm sliding, and now I can go and apply this at a track like Watkins Glen or NJMP even. That's an awesome one. We were just at Lightning the last event, and I was feeling it more and more. I'm all right, I got this. This is going good.
Like I say, I'm definitely a big advocate for skid pad practice.
Yeah.
Right.
Because, learning how to control your car while it's out of control just opens up so many doors for you, because, then those bigger mistakes you make,
Mm-hmm.
you can gather them up so much faster, and those big mistakes become little mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Right. During the car control clinic, like for people that don't know what a car control clinic is, what is it?
Yeah,
What?
so car control clinic, I did a skid pad, so it's a, big kind of area of track. They wet it, and basically the goal is to lose control and find out what that feels like and how you're, going to maneuver around that, and maybe then applying it to a smaller track, more like an autocross style track.
Sure.
Where you're going fast, you're braking, you're turning more than you would be at maybe a larger track. So it's getting comfortable with those feels at a car control clinic.
And you've done them too.
Yeah. They did the B group boot camp when I was early on with
Yep.
Hooked on Driving. Done skid pads before, and even when I was younger, when you first get your license and it snows,
Yeah.
up in the Northeast, we know what that is.
Love it.
We used to go to the old empty church parking lot with it was like 5 or 6 of us,
Yeah.
and then we'd drive through a whole tank of gas, go to the gas station, and come back
Right.
and keep sliding the car in the
Yeah,
snow,
yeah.
in this
That's where
parking lot.
That's where you learn it.
Yeah.
That's where you learn this stuff.
100%.
It's doing that kind of things, making sure, I feel like nowadays a lot of people in a lot of areas, they're restricting that so much
Mhm.
of because they think, yeah, it's kind of horseplay, but there are cases where parents take their kids. I know for sure I'll be taking my kids when they get their license to a parking lot and we will be sliding.
Mhm.
Like that's what it is. And it's not is it fun? Yeah, it's fun. We're all going to have fun, right? But
You're learning a
it's-
life skill.
You're learning that, right? You're experiencing it. You know what that feeling is. So on the road, when it happens, you've already felt it.
Yeah, there's no
You know
panic.
what's going to happen.
Your body just reacts.
And it transitions right to the track.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's 100% when you're in turn 1 or turn 9 at Watkins Glen, and you're starting to step out. You're not slamming the brakes and panicking.
Mhm.
It's fine. Let it happen. It's under control. It's cool. And without going through those clinics or grassroots, let's say, experiences, you don't have that. And that's what causes problems. And it's cool. I know for you being a coach, feeling that and allowing that to happen. Myself as a coach, like I encourage that, especially if we're at an open track.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say Poconos, where it's literally nothing but grass around you.
Mm-hmm.
There is no concern of hitting a wall,
Mhm.
right? Nothing's going to happen. So let's push it.
Yeah.
Let's brake a little later.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens. Let's let the car break loose.
Mhm.
Maybe we are going to spin out.
Yeah.
But now that we spun out, you know that feeling now, and we did it in a safe spot. So now we understand what's going to happen with that. So I think that's great that they're doing that. I think it's great that companies are still offering the skid pads, and it's a good spot to start with it. It truly is. So let's get into a little bit more about Josh's history. What's the scariest thing that's happened on track?
Oh gosh, the scariest thing.
Scariest thing, wild story. What's a wild story
So
that nobody got hurt in? That nobody
nobody
got
nobody got hurt
Good
in.
stuff.
So I mean, knock on wood, never been in a wall. But for my birthday weekend, it was my 28th birthday, so 2 years ago. Mike Arrigo let me drive his brand new C8 Corvette on NJMP Lightning, and I was like, kid in a candy store. Oh my gosh, I get to drive this new car.
Yeah.
And I'm driving it, got the first 2 laps in, get the tires warm. Okay, I'm gonna start rolling into the car. Yeah, starting to learn the car. Okay. And we're going into 7 at Lightning, left-hander, probably the slowest corner on that whole track.
But where everybody spins out.
Where everybody spins out, where everybody goes off track,
Yeah.
where that's the problem child
That's the
of
corner.
that track.
Yeah.
And Steve Furman in his BRZ gives me a point to the inside, so I go offline and I start getting on the brakes, and absolutely nothing changes. Nothing, and then it finally dives in, and like just enough brake, I got a little bit of grass and came back on track. I'm like, what just happened? The brakes stopped working. Well, we come over, what was it, 8 or 9 there right before the light bulb, and here's a C6 Corvette on the side, smoke billowing out of it. He had blown an oil cooler line right in the braking zone going into 7. while Steve Fuhrman's on the outside of me.
Yeah.
And so it was goal number 1, don't kill Steve. Goal number 2, don't crash somebody else's $100,000 car.
Yeah. Good goals.
Good goals.
To have. Good goals to have right there.
So nice.
Yeah.
So that was your first time experiencing oil on the track
Yeah. That was my first time ever in someone else's car.
in somebody else's car.
Yeah.
So it does.
So-
It feels like there's nothing there. But the tires
zero.
are locked.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not moving,
Yeah.
but you're not stopping.
No, it was
So it's-
an oil slick for the first time ever. It's an oil slick.
Did you come right in after that?
Oh yeah, 100%. Oh yeah, that was another heart beating off the steering wheel moment.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, for sure.
But,
I could see where that would be a little.
Yeah. But
exciting.
I can tell you probably back to what we were just talking about, all that practice sliding around in the snow is probably anything that I did. I couldn't tell you what I did, but it worked and I stayed on track and I didn't hit Steve.
Right.
So all those car control things,
Subconsciously.
I can't tell you
you
exactly what I did without a camera having been on me.
But it happened.
But it happened and it worked.
And probably without that, you wouldn't have been able to because you've been through that
yeah.
before. So you
Yeah.
know your hands are just
Yeah.
doing what they got to do.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah, most people would just step on the brake harder,
and go straight.
Yeah, and keep going straight.
And that's it. So that was your wildest on track moment that you've had.
That was terrifying.
Any spin outs?
Terrifying. I've had a couple big slides, a couple money shifts. We call it the anthill, turn 5 at Lightning. You go to grab that next gear, and instead of going 4.5, it went 4.3. Big slides, but I've never actually spun. Like never a real
That's
spin.
impressive.
Nice.
Never a real spin. I did have in my race, it was a rain race. And I didn't have rain tires. I went out on slicks anyway. I did have a slide in that race where like in my head, I was like, I'm not 100% sure I can save this one.
Yeah.
And somehow did, but
And you ended up winning the race, right?
no, not that one. That one I
No?
came in third.
Third.
I wound up coming in third. The two guys who finished ahead of me had the brand new Hoosier wet tires.
So they were hooked up.
Yeah,
pretty
they
good.
were hooked up pretty good. They were almost running 10 seconds a lap faster.
Run through your first race with us. Run through some emotions with
Yeah.
that.
Terrified because that was a rain race on slicks. It was my first
That was
race
the
ever.
first
That
race.
was my first race. Was a wet race on
Rain
slicks.
and slicks.
Yeah.
And
And
third,
third
place.
place.
Yeah.
That's
Still
great.
third.
Well, I
place.
qualified on the pole. I actually had
Wow.
the previous spec record. Now the records don't get broken unless you do it in a race, but in qualifying I went 0.9 of a second faster than the spec E46 record.
So you technically hold the record.
Technically, if you want to get
Technically, you
there.
hold the record.
Yeah.
You put down the fastest lap.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
may not have been documented, but you
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
You definitely did.
Yeah.
So, let alone first race, in the rain, on slicks, pole position.
Yeah.
So you're looking in your rearview mirror, seeing everybody stacked up behind you.
Yeah.
Your first time ever,
Yeah.
and you're probably thinking, "I should not be here."
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. Well, because just about everybody else had rain tires and I didn't.
yeah. What is going on
And I was
here?
like, oh, they're all going to do so much better. I mean, just into turn 1, the guy who was in P2, I mean, he drove right around me like it was nothing.
Yeah.
Held off the guy who was in third for probably 2 laps, and then he got around me, and then I wound up in no man's land.
Right.
20 seconds gap behind me, 30-second gap in front of me, and
Just putting down laps.
just putting down laps, keeping it shiny.
And is there 2 races that you run in the weekend?
Yeah, so that was the Saturday race, and the Sunday race was the dry race.
Dry race. How'd
Yeah.
that race go?
Awesome. That was basically a perfect race.
So second race ever now.
Second race ever. So we had they do a qualifying race, so it's not for points, but based on your position from the race the day before, you start there on grid and you race to get position for the race.
Okay.
So I moved from third to first in the quali race.
So now you're back on the pole.
Back on the pole. Guy in P2 outbraked me in the turn 1. He got me, but I got him back the very following lap. He made a mistake in turn 2, and I was able to just go and just put down. I wasn't putting down the fastest laps, but they were faster than everybody else because everybody else was battling. So I wound up building like an 8 to 10 second gap on the field, and then I was able to just back down a little bit and manage it to the end.
So consistent laps, and you won.
Yeah, yeah,
First place. So second race ever, first place.
yeah.
Pretty impressive.
In class, yeah. It was It was exhilarating for sure.
So you were pretty happy.
Oh yeah, I was happy, but I was exhausted. It was a lot of work that
'Cause
weekend.
how long are those races?
So they're 35 minutes from the time you roll off grid. So there's
Okay.
one pace lap, which is usually about 5 minutes.
So 30 minutes.
So it's 30-minute race from green flag to checkers.
I'm sure that's a lot of mental strain too, right? Like we always talk about, we kind of hate, like some people love it, but I like personally, and I think a lot of people feel some type of way when there's someone right behind you, right? Even just a DE day. Some people, the nerves get to them, they like kind of veer off their line or even off track when someone's consistently right behind you. Like people don't often like to be the leader, and it's a lot of mental game, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, well, especially when you're running nose to tail like that, you're also playing a little bit of defense. But, you know, if you're in, you know, say you're in third playing defense on 4, you know, you're looking ahead because you want to, you're playing defense and offense at the same time.
Right.
Like I want to move forward because then I can get away from this guy and maybe he won't be able to pass him. But it's a game. It's a mental game for sure.
And it's not even just on the track. I mean, this isn't NASCAR, right? You are the crew chief. You are the mechanic. You're the car hauler. You're the driver.
Yeah, the engineer.
Like, it's not just going out and driving a car. You're prepping the car, getting the car ready, getting the car there, working on the car if something breaks. So I'm sure the mechanic background, that helps a ton with that. You know, fix your own stuff.
Yep, 100%.
It's exhausting.
Yeah, all around, right?
And then when you're done, you just want to go to bed. It's just time for bed.
Well, I mean, in our DE sessions, we do, you know, anywhere between a 20 and a 25-minute session usually. That like extra 5 minutes is 20 minutes longer, I swear.
It's true.
You know,
100%. I don't know how these guys that race AER and WRL that go for 2 hours,
stints,
2.5 hours.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know how you do it.
Yeah.
Like that.
We're
going to learn. We just bought, I don't know if you know, me and Sam bought a Lemons car.
Okay.
So we're going to do some endurance racing next year, but it's a little I'm nervous.
It's daunting.
Totally.
I'm nervous.
That's probably the best word for it.
You know, and it's been a while since I've had that feeling, right? When you do so many DEs, you kind of, the nerves kind of go away and you just feel comfortable and laid back. But when you introduce this new aspect, right, just picking up the car, getting the car, you start like, oh, I haven't had this feeling in a while. This is like, you know what I mean? Like, boy, I better hit a few more events this year outside of HOD to make sure that we're
lift some weights or do some jogs or something.
Lose about 40 pounds.
Definitely the cardio for sure. You don't realize how hard you're working in that car.
It's wild. You know, we talked to like 2 IMSA drivers at Watkins Glen during IMSA. And we're like, how do you last in there? And they're saying that they lose 5 pounds every half hour in the car.
Holy cow.
5 pounds in a half hour. They're in the car for 2 hours.
Yeah.
They're losing 20 pounds.
Yeah, all
every
water
race.
Weight.
All water weight. And
better weight loss than wrestlers.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? Like, and they're telling you, like, there's no way. And then you see them when they're done.
Yeah.
And they are
absolutely cooked.
They are gone. Like it's wild to me to think that that's actually happening inside there. Yeah. And I'm sure you guys are losing too. I mean, how hot does the inside of the car get?
So I don't have a thermometer in there, but I'd imagine it's 110, 120.
At least, right?
At least, yeah.
And do you do like the cool suit or like water system?
I didn't. I'm currently in the middle of building my own home-built cool shirt system.
So you're really feeling it then.
It's exhausting. It was funny, after my first win, my wife came up to me and she's like, "Oh, you won. Why aren't you excited?"
You're just
I was like, I can barely move.
Jeez, very strenuous on the body for sure.
Yeah.
What would you tell anybody if you had a young kid come up to you? And obviously people idolize, right? So it's the D group, the C group drivers and DE, the A's and B's idolize, right? We want to be there. Or when you're doing these races, you got the kids that are watching and, oh man, you know, I want to be that guy. How do I get there? So if you were to talk to a 18-year-old that sees it on TV, wants to be a part of it, like, what's the first steps? What do you got to do?
The first steps, I mean, car control clinics are fantastic. Skid pad clinics are fantastic. And, there's a lot of different companies and organizations that offer those. Get your foot in the door with one of these programs. A lot of these programs, NASA Hooked on Driving, they have programs where you can work as a volunteer and they give you a significant discount on driving, because I know at 18, most people are waiting tables or, working, maybe just above minimum wage jobs. So and finding track time isn't that easy, but,
Sure.
Get your foot in the door, find somebody, who maybe even a friend who will let you drive their car if you don't have a car that's track oriented, or maybe a friend and you share a car.
It's funny you say that, track oriented. Do you feel to do this you have to have a full race car?
No, not at all. I mean, you need to have fresh brake fluid. You have to have good brakes. You have to have, fairly new tires.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'll take my sport wagon diesel Jetta out on track.
Sure. So you don't have to have the caged race car. You don't have to have the Porsche or anything like that. It can tune and all stuff. It could literally be. I know you coached a kid that had a Jetta, right? You could be a Jetta.
Yeah.
It could be a Honda Civic. I
coached in a 1993 Nissan 300ZX one time.
Yeah.
Just box stock, family owned, had a historic tag on it.
And that guy had just as much fun as the guy in the Porsche.
Oh, he had a blast.
Right.
He had the time of his life.
It was cool. Well, I appreciate you coming.
Yeah.
I appreciate you shooting that with us.
Thanks for having us.
And we're excited. We're excited to see you grow. We're excited to see you race more. We're excited to see where you go with it, and hopefully you can pull out the championship. I think next year you're running for the championship, or do you still have it?
We're gonna
for this
try
year?
This year. We'll see what we can pull out of the hat.
You bummed your foot, so you missed one, right?
Yeah.
But you can still come back in points for it.
So we'll see how this all spills out. Gonna have to go to a couple tracks that I'm not as familiar with, like Lime Rock. I really only have 2 track days there, and Summit Point, which I have 0 track days there. I've never driven there at all. And there's no practice day for that race either. So it'll be the warm-up and qualifying.
So you're jumping racing. Right.
Yeah.
So you'll be spending some time on the simulator.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Lots of time on the sim.
That's cool. Well, thanks for coming down, man. I know it's quite the drive for you to get here. We definitely appreciate it.
Yeah.
And until next time on the track, we'll see you then.
Take care.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks.
Yep.